Hey everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews. Today, look at this big 22-ounce bomber with the wax on top of it. Yeah, my favorite, right. This is the Epic Brewing's Big Bad Baptist Reserve 2019 edition. This is an 11.6%er, big beer, final beer of the evening for me. The label here on this one says it's release number 3, 11.6% alcohol by volume. And then it's got some other number here, which means absolutely nothing to me. Imperial Stout with coffee, cocoa nibs, and coconut added and aged in whiskey and rum barrels. So this is a blended beer. They've aged it in 2 different barrels and put them together to put it in the bottle here. As you all know, I'm not a fan of these big wax-covered bottles, but it is what it is. I have no control over that. Deal with it. That's basically what my subscribers tell me, and that's what I'm going to tell you. It is what it is. They have somebody dipping every one of these bottles that's coming off the bottling line to charge you more money. That's what happens. This was sent to me by my beer brother Rico. So thanks again, Rico. I do appreciate it, sir, for all the wonderful beers you send me and have sent me over the years. You are the man. His notes on this says 11.6 Imperial Stout with coffee, cocoa nibs, and coconut added. He's basically telling me the same thing I just read off of the site here, or off the label. Aged in whiskey and rum barrels. This is a blend of 3 best barrels from their 3 different 2018-2019 Big Bad Baptist projects. I'm a fan of those beers, guys. They are very tasty, fresh, or cellared. And he just sent me this one, and we're getting thin in the fridge, as you may have noticed in the intro on this one. We're pulling more and more. We're going to be pulling more and more stuff. The fridge downstairs is basically empty, the cellaring fridge. I still have a few more in the closet. We're going to get to those. So, and again, I've said this before, it will come to a point where you won't see a beer review every day, depending on what is sent to me to review. This is one of the blends in this beer is their 2018 Triple Barrel Big Bad Baptist Imperial Stout. No date, but label says it's release number 3, and I told you that. It's checked on their website. It says brewed in 2019, listed on Untappd as Big Bad Baptist Reserve number 3. Purchased last week at the beer store, and it was $19. Not a cheap beer to buy, guys. But when they age them, and especially when they blend them and age them, it costs more money. And then they're going to dip them in the wax, which costs more money. It's not an expensive process, but every one that comes off that line, somebody is dipping in a wax container. So, anyway, it is what it is. Can't control any of that. Maybe they think it's purdy. But I think putting wax on a bottle is like tits on a boar hog. Useless. Just my opinion, though. Anyway, let's jump over to Untappd and see what they say. It says Imperial Stout exclusively in first-use whiskey barrels that highlight notes of vanilla spirit and oak, rich, smooth, creamy flavors and aromas dominate. They're showing a different label than what I am seeing here, but it does have the 11.6%. I don't know. Anyway, one of the pictures shows the same bottle, but they've got another one on there too that's showing a different label. I'm not sure. I'm not going to try to do any more research on it. It is what it is, guys. It's an 11.6 blended Big Bad Baptist Reserve number 3. So, with that being said, let me get this down here. Like I said, it is a big 22-ounce bottle, so we're going to end up sharing this with the other half. And get the old knife out here and try not to cut my whole fingers or hand off trying to do this. I think this is a useless process, guys. You shouldn't have to do this, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. So I've got that scarred all the way around. Might be able to get the opener underneath of it, and I might have to do some more carving on it, so I apologize for that. It is what it is. Man, I can't. Got to do some more carving, guys. Get this stupid ass wax off the bottle. I am not a fan of this, and y'all all know that I've watched my beer reviews for any length of time at all. I wish the person that decided to put wax on a damn beer bottle had this shoved up there. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, maybe I got enough off of it now so I can get the cap off. There it is. Cap is off. I usually end up bending the damn opener when I do that. And it doesn't seem like I messed it up this time, but anyway. Cap's nice, yes. Into the glass we go, straight down the center. Like I said, I am a big fan of the Big Baptist series. They do, Epic makes some very tasty beers, especially in this series, guys. Alright, it's in there. Let's turn that around where you can see it. About a finger of head on that pour. Very dark beer coming out of the bottle. Very dark beer in the glass. Good looking beer. Yes, it is. A very good looking beer. Let's get it to the nose and see what this one brings to the table. Nice roasted malt. I am getting a little bit of barrel aging. It's not super off the chain with the bourbon or the rum aspects of it. But I am getting some coconut and vanilla from the barrel aging. Rich roasted malt and maybe a little bit of black molasses. It's got a very, very pleasant aroma, guys. Not a big alcohol note on the nose. Smells very good. Let's find out. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Rico. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it. You are the man, sir. I do appreciate everything that is sent to me, guys. I have wonderful subscribers. That's the reason why I've been doing this as long as I have. From all the beers from the subscribers and even the breweries that send me their beers to review. So, as long as that continues, we'll continue. And when it dries up, it is what it is. It's been a good, fun, long run. And I appreciate it. And thank you to everybody that watches the beer reviews and comments. Cheers. Now, even more coconut on the nose. Wow. Awesome. Now, on the taste, I am getting the whiskey, coconut, vanilla. Wow. That is delicious tasting. Wow. Very, very, very tasty beer. Mmm. Mmm. The coconut is just really super impressive. For a beer that's not had any coconut added to it, I'm getting a whole lot of that off the barrel aging process. That is a very, very, very tasty beer, guys. But it's not a cheap beer. Like I told you, this was $19 for this bottle of beer. And a lot of people have a problem with that. I don't. I don't buy these super expensive beers. I don't look for these big wax-covered beers to buy them. But usually, not always, but usually, they are impressive. That's why they put the wax on them. This is one of their flagship beers. They want it to be impressive looking, sitting on the shelf. So a lot of them do them very, very well, and this is one of them, guys. Other than saying it's 11.6%, I don't think they're telling us exactly, because it doesn't have a vintage or anything like that on the label, and they've got the wax is all the way down to here. And if they stamped anything up here, they covered it up with wax. So I don't see anything. I'll take a closer look at the bottle, but other than going to Epic's website, and like Rico said on his notes here, that it is a 2019, and you probably could find that out if you went and looked in the Epic's website and looked up the Big Bad Baptist Reserve number 3. It would tell you. That's probably where he found that information. It doesn't tell me that here on Untapped or Beer Advocate. I don't think Beer Advocate says anything about it. No, I don't see anything written here about it. But right now, a very tasty beer, 11.6%. The alcohol is well hidden. A lot of tasty notes on this beer. Maybe some dark fruit in there, and a lot of times it doesn't come out until you let it warm up to room temperature, which we always do, no matter what style of beer it is. When I come back for the final chug, I've been sipping on it for 30 to 45 minutes usually, and let it come up to room temperature. So we got about this much left in the bottle. We're going to pour the other half some and let her have some. That'll be the final beer of the evening for her too, and very enjoyable beer. I like these dark beers for the final beer of the evening, especially when they're some kind of barrel-aged stout or porter or something like that. Very nice, very tasty beers. Drink it at home. Don't think you can go out and have something like this and drive somewhere. Almost a 12% beer, guys. So drink responsibly. Don't think you're macho man and you can go out and drink one or two 11, 12%ers and drive somewhere. That'd be a foolish mistake. Just think how you would think if you hurt somebody, got in a car wreck and hurt some 5-year-old, 4-year-old child, or killed them. That'd be a heavy burden to bear. So that's why you see me do all mine here. I'm not driving. I ain't hurting nobody. Maybe myself, but I ain't hurting no innocent people. And I definitely ain't innocent. So all I gotta do is stumble down the hallway and fall down into bed. So that's why I do all mine here. As a young buck, I didn't do that, and very lucky and knock on wood that I never got a DUI, but those days are over. You don't drink and drive anymore. And a lot of people have found that out the hard way. I'm one of the lucky ones that have not, and I'm going to continue to be that way. I drink mine here. So, let me sip on this, and we'll come back, give it a grade. Yeah, that's what we do. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sitting on a while. Nice lacing as I know that on the glass. It's not outstanding or anything like that as far as the lacing goes. But it is a very tasty beer, guys. Very pricey beer, but you got to realize what they've gone through and dipping it and all that kind of stuff and barrel aging it. It costs money to do that. So it is what it is. I enjoyed this beer. A very, very tasty beer. Probably a good candidate to cellar if you wanted to. I don't think it's had any coffee introduced into it that's going to fade over time. I'm not getting any big coffee notes. But the coconut and the vanilla and the barrel aging with the bourbon, not the bourbon, but the whiskey and the rum. Not so much rum on this one. I can definitely tell it's barrel aged, and it is a blended beer if they've done it in 2 different barrels. Tasty beer. Not outstanding to me. Very impressive though. I do think it's worthy of picking up. I do think it's an A beer though. Very nice aroma now that it's warmed up to room temperature. A very pleasant beer on the aroma and on the taste. I enjoyed this. Rico, thanks again, my brother. I do appreciate it, sir. I know this was a pricey beer to buy, but like I said, you pay more for stuff that they dipped in wax and aged in barrels, guys. And especially it's 11.6%. I mean, it costs more to produce a beer like that instead of a 6 or 7% version. So deal with it. That's what you got to do if you want. If you want to play the game, you got to pay the price. So with that being said, very tasty beer, guys. Final chug. I am impressed with the coconut aroma and taste that I'm getting on this beer when there's no coconut been added to it. It's coming from the barrel aging process. The woodiness and the oak and the whiskey and the rum, or rum in the whiskey barrels, like I said, has an effect on what flavors and tastes and aromas you're going to get from the beer when they barrel age them in different barrels like that and blend them before they brew it. I mean, before they bottle it. Very, very tasty beer. And like I said, this would probably be a very good candidate. This is pretty fresh. 2019 edition. Looking at the label saying it's number 3. Maybe they've only done this 2 other times for the reserve edition of this beer. Very impressive. If you've got deep enough pockets and you want to buy 2 or more and cellar 1 and have another one down the road, or do a vertical, you could do that. Tasty beer, guys. As far as I'm concerned, it's a beer. I'm going to give it a 98. Pretty tasty beer. It would probably give even a little better grade than that for me if it had the vintage or year on the label or on the bottle somewhere. I don't see anything written on the bottle anywhere, guys. It doesn't have anything on it, so you would probably have to go to their website if you've seen this sitting on the shelf to find out when release number 3 was done. But Rico's telling me it's the 2019 edition, and I believe that. So 98 for me, guys. Over to Beer Advocate, they say 94. I'm giving it a better grade than that. And over to Untapped, they have it at 4.33. That is in their A category also. I think I'm giving it a better grade than that too. So it is a tasty beer, guys. It is. It's super tasty. But if you're expecting super off the chain whiskey, bourbon notes or rum notes, they're there, but they're not off the chain, guys. It's a well blended, and that's probably what they wanted. They didn't want those aspects of aging, and it doesn't tell me, or I don't have that information, how long they left it in each barrel. I don't know. The longer they leave it in those first run barrels, which first run means they've never had beer in them before, the more of those notes you're going to get. And it's probably exactly where they want it to be, or they wouldn't bottled it and sent it out. So, but there are stronger bourbon notes or whatever notes from a lot of different breweries that leave them in the barrels longer. So if I was guessing, I would say it's probably not been in those barrels very, very long, couple of months. But that's probably what they wanted it to be. They didn't want something that was overpowering everything else in the beer. And a lot of times you get a lot of those aspects like I am getting on this one, when you get the coconut and the vanilla and black molasses and a lot of other, maybe some dark fruit notes in it, where the bourbon or whiskey or rum is not overpowering everything else in the beer. So it is what it is. And if you've had this one, the Big Bad Baptist Reserve 2019, batch number 3. Let me know what you think. Till we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.